Welcome to Hort Culture, where a group of extension professionals and plant people talk about the business, production, and joy of planting seeds and helping them grow. Join us as we explore the culture of horticulture.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to peak fall. That's at least how I feel about it. What do you qualify as fall? Because I feel like sometimes I'm like, where does winter start? I feel like everybody's is a little bit different. So are you a winter starts post Thanksgiving or what's the vibe?
Fall is when the humidity starts to fall. That's the only thing I care about. When mosquito season is gone and the humidity starts to fall and usually the temperature starts to fall. I mean, when the leaves start to fall, that's nice too, right?
Yeah. I guess my question would be where's the fall versus winter distinction for you? Because that one is always kind of...
We're just in fall and you're already looking to the end.
Okay. Because winter technically doesn't start, right? So close to the end of December.
The December
21st.
Is winter solstice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you look at the kind of the calendar date, it's really weird sometimes for fall and winter. I mean, we can't go by big box stores, which starts putting out Christmas stuff in May now, it seems like.
If I had to guess, so we're joined by a guest, Daniel Wilson, director of the Robinson Center. If I had to guess, I would say it's when Daniel switches over from pumpkin spice lattes to peppermint mochas. That would be what
absolutely. Now,
for me, that would be
that on him.
Yeah. I called Daniel up and I'm like, let me know when you switch, brother.
Yeah.
He's like, how do I respond to this?
Yeah. How do I get out of that?
Exactly. How do I back away from that gracefully? Yeah.
Well, I think for us, it would be for whenever you start seeing the leaves falling off, and then that's when imminent sadness comes.
Oh.
Winter
equals when I become imminently sad.
Yeah. I like it. We need that on a t-shirt. Yeah. Imminent sadness, winter in Kentucky.
I was talking to Mark Maines, who works with our workforce development stuff and extension, and he said that fall is his least favorite season.
That's because Mark is being difficult. You tell Mark that. He's just being Mark.
Well, I said that's at least a new, fresh take. That that's a hot take in the world, Mark.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe he's
like, I don't like pumpkin.
Maybe he's Team Daniel and he's saying it's the
well, that's what I think of. Is that, it's more of the death knell on the year's growth, and
I feel like I would agree though. Winter. When I think about what time of year it is, I say winter is when the leaves are gone. For me, fall is up until that point, and then when all the leaves are gone, it's winter to me.
If you're speaking holidays, though, I like Thanksgiving.
I do.
Right? So I'm one of those people that I hold off until after Thanksgiving, and then I'm like, all right, we can go hard with Christmas now.
Yeah.
We can put a tree
winter
up.
and Christmas are different.
They are.
I'm talking winter.
Not if you ask
not Christmas.
Certain
when
singers.
Does winter start?
So are you saying that maybe winter would be even after Christmas, Alexis?
So January.
No, I think winter is before Christmas, but it might even be, depending on the year, when Thanksgiving is, if we had an early freeze.
I don't know.
Everyone's like, Thanksgiving is a fall holiday.
It is. I love
There's
fall.
Pumpkin pie.
You guys are sick of me saying it. I love the autumn time of the year. I love fall. I want to extend that as much as possible. As much as I love Christmas and all the holidays, I want to extend fall as much as possible.
Ray is just kind of I'm going to pretend it's fall. It's fall in your heart all year. Meanwhile, I'm over here winter is when the leaves are gone.
Drink your peppermint mocha,
I don't care what time of year it is.
Alexis,
we get a drought in July and all the leaves fall. Winter, baby.
That's what I was going to say, Alexis. Wow. I was like, the walnut trees have already lost their leaves, so apparently it is winter.
Mine has not. My walnuts are hanging on strong. So
at the risk of tiptoeing into this controversial topic, can we go around and quickly say our favorite fall activity?
No.
I felt a little bit of a basic boy, but I went out to Evan's Orchard with my wife, and I went out there and sat and people watched and enjoyed the crisp morning, and it felt very fall. It felt
nice.
Felt nice.
Yeah, Evan's Orchard. That's 5 minutes from the house. We did the same thing.
My favorite fall activity is kind of twofold, but it's all in one. My favorite fall activity is being able to go outside at a reasonable hour, have a nice cup of coffee, and go outside and not be obnoxiously hot. And in the same spin, I actually go to bed at a normal time because it's dark by 7:30. So those are my favorite things about fall.
Wow. Really fits into your structure.
Yeah, you nailed it. Just Put that right in there.
I do not like it getting dark early.
Mm.
There's not enough time in the
This
day
is not
now to
about
get
what
There's
we
home.
not enough
don't
time,
like.
but it
Right.
means I get to sleep.
This is not about what we don't like, Jessica.
I like Halloween, I guess, and all the
Oh.
things. We have birthdays. It's a big birthday month, and one of my son's birthday is on Halloween. So
And your wedding anniversary.
and my
is
wedding
on
anniversary is
Halloween.
on Halloween as well. So it's kind of a big day for us. So we're already like really prepping the costumes. I will have a
People taking
career.
Valentine's Day seriously. It sounds like in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing. I mean, have you seen the costumes, Brett, that she makes for her children? Pretty elaborate.
Yeah, I have.
No, Brett was being gross.
Produce
This is
I
a
wasn't being
family
gross.
podcast.
I wasn't being gross. This is, they're all human beings here. What about you, Daniel? What's your favorite fall activity?
Well, I tell you, two things I think about when I think about fall is I enjoy just being outside, kind of soaking up that last little bit of being outside before winter and doing family activities on the farm and building some fires up maybe on the property somewhere. That's one
Oh,
thing.
man.
And my second thing is honestly is work related because we just have completed all of our fall events here at the Robinson Center. Where we have all the kids come with pumpkin days and all those activities that we offer, and just seeing everybody on campus here and having that good fall feel. It's kind of kicks off the start of winter, but also the end of the program year here for us, and so it's a pretty special time for the center here in the fall time. So
Daniel takes a nice deep breath, and that is his like a fall. He's like, release. I feel that.
He's also king of the segue because that transitions us nicely into. So you mentioned this Robinson Center thing. If somebody hadn't heard of it before, maybe they've heard it by another name. Can you give us? I'm sure by now you've got a elevator pitch for a 3-floor building, a 10-floor building, a 100-floor building, depending on the length of the elevator ride. Can you just give us the kind of what is it about? Like, what is that place? How long has it been around? And then give us. I'd love to hear more about some of those events you just said.
Yeah. Well, the Robinson Center has been around since 1923, believe it or not. So we actually celebrated our 100th anniversary a couple years ago. So we're now on year 102. I guess you could say, at the Robinson Center. But I explain every group that comes here, and I'll explain it like this to your audience and to the group here on the call today, is that the Robinson Center is where we have our land grant mission come together, where that all three components can come together and we can kind of play. So it's kind of like putting them all three components, which is our extension, which is research, and which is our students, right? So this is one of the places at the University of Kentucky where you can come, where all three of them can be kind of thrown into a mixing bowl and you mix them up, right? And then you can have any component of those three land grant missions here at the Robinson Center at any point in time. So it's a pretty cool and pretty special place for that. But I do preface it with all my conversations with this as well. We're the East Region Research Farm for the University of Kentucky in the College of Ag, the Martin Gatton College of Ag. So it also provides us an opportunity to really highlight what we do in the region, but also target our research and toward anything that we have going on at the center that can be applicable for the region, for the people that are here in this part of the state, which is pretty awesome to think that kind of starts here at the Robinson Center. And then also it's about our students coming here, from whether that's campus students coming from a class on campus, or it's students locally that's maybe in high school or below, and they come here and they see how awesome that this part of the state is and part of the world, and then they come back and hopefully they come back and want to be a part of that. So people want to come back and they want to sustain themselves here in the Appalachian region because of all the great things we have to offer here as well.
So I've been coming out to the Robinson Center off and on for the better part of 15 years now, I guess. Once upon a time, I was a research technician, and I would drive out and download air temperature sensors and soil temperature sensors. I was working on the farm in Lexington, and the amount of work that you all and the whole team there, you and the whole team there have put into not only building out that center to something really special now, but rebuilding that center. We don't want to dwell too long on some of the flooding issues that have happened. But you mentioned you referred to it as campus, having people there on campus at the Robinson Center, and I think that's part of how it feels to me now when I come out there, is that it feels like this extension of our campus center. We have these extension offices in every county that have this really special role. But I just would love to just hear briefly about that and about some of the building and rebuilding efforts before we jump into some of the other programming.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. In July of 2022, we was severely impacted here at the Robinson Center with a major flooding event, as a lot of the areas and communities and counties in eastern Kentucky were during that time. But we actually had 13 structures that flooded during that event here at the Robinson Center. So that's on our main campus here at the Robinson Road location. And we had 13 structures flood. We lost 8 of those. So we had to tear them down, or they were, evicted, I guess you could say, and condemned. So we've been in a rebuilding process with those structures. So we are nearing, hopefully within the next few weeks, having all of our buildings that we are getting back from that event completed. So hopefully looking at a grand opening in the spring of 2026. We're going to be planning that this winter so we can have a grand opening event. We don't have the date specifically there for that yet, but yeah, so after that event, you mentioned about this place being a campus. Well, when we did flood, when we had the opportunity to rebuild, it was our intent and our purpose here so that when you leave campus and you leave your classroom, you leave your office, you leave whatever you're doing on main campus in Lexington, and you come to the Robinson Center, when you come on here, you should have, like you said, Brett, that campus feel. And before the floods, I would think that a lot of people here would agree that it didn't have that feel, just because how things were marketed, signage, the way our buildings looked, all those things. So now everything's either a new building, or it's been redone, or it's got a new, it's kind of been repainted, re-roofed. It's got a newer, cleaner, slicker look to everything. But and that's been great, and we've been really, really blessed to be able to rebuild like we have. But one thing we have done that's made a big difference is we've instituted a marketing plan to where we've incorporated a lot of UK signage, and we have got our new Martin Gatton College of Agriculture logos, and we've instituted all those all over our campus. So we've put up banners, we've put up new signs for all of our buildings. We didn't have building signs like in one before the flood, so all of our public-facing buildings now have building signs out front, so people can, and they come on campus, they can identify with what building that is. And then we've also been able to market it with around all of our new buildings that we have built. So we've put up signage in places that we probably wouldn't have put up, before the floods, just because of the way we were built and constructed. But what I'm most proud about is about the marketing aspect of this, and why that's important to have that campus feel is it's twofold. It's for the people that are coming here to participate in our programs, the public and in the communities that we're trying to serve, but it's also for our employees. It's for the people that come here. They have a sense of pride. It's something that everybody, if you work for the university, you should be proud of the work that you do, and you should be proud to be a part of the university. And so so when you come here, having that feel, and it makes everybody feel like they're a part of something bigger, and that sometimes can help somebody that may be going through a rough patch or their job's difficult at the time. You're still a reminder that you're a part of something bigger. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just like Brett hinted at it, and as well as you, from the research side, and I mean, there's tons of research that goes on there. But maybe that's where we start before I launch into my bragging on how awesome you all are, is sort of all of the different pieces of the Robinson Center, because there's a lot going on there, and there's the forest and the farm. And I mean, there's things I don't even know about. And I think that it's so special of a place. We want to hear more.
Daniel's like, can we just skip to the bragging part? Actually, we can.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to get there. I just need all of my details.
Well, I'll have to. I'll have to brag on it. It's I started out in extension, well, in the northern part of the state. Then I spent many years in the far eastern part of the state in Floyd County, and the Robinson Center was a very strong connection when you're in the Appalachian region. Which sometimes can seem far away from, the mothership can seem far away from campus. And it was such a good connector, and it influenced so much of my early extension work. Tomorrow, Daniel, I'm doing shiitake mushrooms because I worked for years with Deborah Hill
Yeah.
on, mushroom production on natural logs, many years ago. But I was thinking a lot about the center and all the, stuff that I used to do there. I was there almost on a monthly basis for several years, being, in the mountains of the eastern part of the state where I was stationed as a job. But it was a great connector between the counties of the far east that use that so heavily. Yeah, we're connected directly to campus. That's true, but that's a regional connection. I think that's very important, but it still to this very day has a big impact on the shape of my work and the way that I go about my work. A lot of the programs that started there that I worked with years ago. So really cool place with the Wood Utilization Center. I guess Win with Wood, big programs like that are still going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
The research and vegetable and row crops, and my goodness, and all the programs at the forest. I was a member of the Kentucky Natural Resources Leadership Institute years ago, and we spent a lot of time there in the cabins. And it's just like Alexa said, it's incredible facilities. I know you guys have just continued to work to improve those in a lot of different ways. So yeah, got to brag on it. It's always had a special place.
So Alexis, were you asking for kind of like the snapshot of the research that's going on right now?
Well, more. I want to know first more about the facilities. Like it's not just the farm or the wood center. Like there's so many pieces that make Robinson Center really special that like campus doesn't have, and there's all these places, and I just think that people don't really understand the full scope of it. So,
we at the Robinson Center, we talk about the three main components, and I have some assistant directors that help support each one of those different components of the Robinson Center. So it's broken out, and you've mentioned some of them already, but it's broken out with the research farm here at the Robinson Center that can encompasses all the agricultural research that we do on site. That's horticulture. That can be this year we have soybeans, we have corn, we have integrated wheatgrass studies. We have a variety of different research going on here at the farm. Then we also have our wood center, and where we do a lot of the woodworking products, where we do a lot of there's wood research going on out there, active research. There's a bridge program for the forest for the loggers in the region that we're instituting out of the wood center. So that's one component of that as well, of the Wood Robinson Center. And then lastly, we have our Robinson Forest, which is a several thousand acre, really one of the biggest and largest research forests in the world. And so we have a camp there that people come and stay, and we do a lot of trainings with the industry. We do a lot of agent and extension employee trainings and activities there, but we also do a lot of youth and a lot of industry type tours and things like that as well there. So we got three components here. That's kind of the main three: the farm, the wood center, and the forest. So that's our three main ones. Now, the extension and research and students are components of all three of those as well. So it's not like, well, we're just welcoming students that's in the forestry field, or they're in the horticulture field, or whatever. Absolutely not. All three of those phases of the Robinson Center, we fulfill all of our land grant responsibilities in all aspects of the Robinson Center. So, and then
you all have.
Go ahead.
Let me go. I'm so excited to brag on you. I think, agroforestry, I think, is a thing that's been happening for, all of time, but having more info and like the research and just the information that's coming out for people who are wanting to do more on their land in a good sustainable way, that's maybe it's timber, but also maybe it's mushrooms or ginseng or all of these other agroforestry crops that are out there. And at the CCD we get requests for people wanting to know about growing elderberry to support their family as far as to sell it and those types of things. And a lot of that information has come out of the Robinson Center, and the Robinson Center has been so great in connecting with those people that are in, in Appalachia, and, they're not going to be growing soybeans and raising cattle and doing a lot of the things that the rest of the state does. And I just think that's so cool. And then to see, as like the horticulture nerd, we have these 3 farms across the state. We have Lexington, we have far western Kentucky, and then we have this eastern Kentucky. And so it's so fascinating to see the research. You can have the same, plot doing the same exact thing at all 3 of these places, and to see the differences in how the plants grow or produce, or the diseases they get, or, how they deal with flooding in many cases. And to see the differences there, so that we can really, through extension, give people information that's useful for them, and not just like a blanket statement of make sure you plant your corn by this day. Well, it's not the same everywhere. And I think that's just so nerdy of me to like how interesting that is, but also from the extension point of view, how valuable you all are by where you're at and just the great work you're doing. I feel like I could talk all day about how valuable that is over there.
Well, we appreciate that, and that's kind of the results we're looking. We want people to know that we're trying to do, And here's the thing: is if we don't have it here, Alexis, or we've never done that trial here, or whatever's going on, we have the people and the capabilities and the equipment now, and the facilities, like we've talked about already. We have the ability to do some of those. So if people have a dream, or they have a opportunity, or they have an idea, and they want to conduct that research here, or they want us to conduct those trials here. That's a conversation we look for, during the winter months, so we can plan for the next year. And we try to say yes to everything, right? So that we say, but we have to kind of look at it and say, well, can we do it? Make sure that we can, and make sure it's viable, and we have what we need to make it happen. But we try to say yes and no, very, very infrequently. So.
We had Chad Nyman on to talk about some of the wood projects. We talked about potentially using some of these species maybe as framing lumber to provide a economic opportunity there. There was also the idea of some of these preformed panels, different panels and structural wood construction using hardwood species. We were out there. Daniel was very gracious to put together a tour for us on the same day that they had the dean. One of the dean search visits, one of the interviews was that day, and he managed to pull together a tour for us, which was so awesome, because we were going out there because it provides this gathering spot for the eastern part of the state for agents to come in and hear from potential dean candidates in this case. And we saw you all showed us this new kiln that you had that had recently been donated from Martin Guitar, which was so cool. So I have a Martin Guitar hanging just over my shoulder here off screen, and so that was pretty cool. I like to imagine that mine went through there, but I don't know. Maybe. Well, if anyone asks, it did. But the wood side of things, you mentioned that you all have corn and soybean trials out there, and I think that's an important part of the story of Appalachia. Eastern part of the state isn't all mountainous. There are some spots to grow some of that stuff, and we want to have good research based information. But just echoing what Alexis said, the feel of how like the opportunities and the interest in the research that's happening, it feels appropriate to the region, and it feels like it fits that space. And I just think you have more credibility when you can say, oh yeah, all our fields were flooded out too, just like yours. Here's what we're doing about it. That just has a different, it's like, oh, from Lexington, we saw that was happening. Sorry that happened. It's just a different kind of conversation. And so, as far as the research trials, are those mostly folks, at your site who are doing those, or do you kind of collaborate with other people, or how does that research side go?
That's a good question. We actually have, the one stipulation we kind of do have here is if you're doing some kind of if you want to do a research project, that we have somebody that's a lead researcher that's taking the lead on that project. So we've had 3 different types of research going on here. That's specialist or faculty led. That they're coming here from campus or or we have one stationed faculty member here, and that's Dr. Sean Wright. He's our horticulturalist. So, and he's here, and then we have him as our stationed on-site specialist. But everybody else that comes in either comes in from campus or comes in from another area. But one unique thing we've done the last 2 years is we've actually offered to our extension offices and our extension agents to come here and do their research here. So it's getting harder to find partners in our communities, because of the way things are now with risk management and things like that. That producers are somewhat, can be hesitant of allowing people coming on their property for research. So we have offered that the agents, if they have a research idea, they can come here and do it here as well. So we've had a few of those over the past few years, where that the agents have come, and then they will bring their producers here, or they'll bring their clients here from that county to view that product, and in other counties as well. And then we've also, just beyond the research, we do things. Ray had mentioned about the shiitake mushrooms recently. One cool component that we do here with all three components of the Robinson Center is we train our agents and we train our staff on those things. Like we had a shiitake mushroom workshop here that we went and got the logs. We went and got the wood from the downed trees or whatever that we may have here at the center. So we repurposed the items that the university has on its property to train the agents, who then go and train their communities. So that's a pretty powerful and a pretty awesome example of how that the Robinson Center impacts the state out and about. Not just you don't just have to come here, right? You can come here and you can learn, but the items, your things you're learning here can be brought back down to the county level.
It's Daniel, it seems like it's hard to run into a division of forestry or anybody in forestry in this state that doesn't know about the forest out there. I guess a lot of those folks that I've talked to have went through their students. I guess you guys host student activity events out there, and there's like a camp out there, and really to call it a camp is not exactly accurate. They're nice, pretty nice cabins out there. I guess you guys still do that with students?
Absolutely. Yeah, we welcome guests throughout the entire year at the Robinson Forest Camp. We could sleep about around 50-ish people in cabins, and there's a bathhouse, and we have a cafeteria, and we have a forest manager that manages the facilities in the place. We also have a cook, custodian that can provide the meals in the cafeteria, people that want to visit, and then we build what they want to do while they're there, what they're requesting to do off of each different request. So they can do forest tours. We've had chainsaw workshops where we've had master logger trainings there. We have all kinds of things throughout the year. But we welcome adults. We welcome youth. We welcome any group that really wants to come. But we just try to build what they're wanting, what they're requesting. It has to be educational in a sense. You can't just come and stay, but you want to come. We want to teach you and fulfill that land grant mission with you while you're there. But yeah, we welcome those guests. And like this week, we have a group of middle school teen leaders that are coming from several counties in the area. That's being put together by some of our extension agents, 4-H agents. And they'll be bringing those students, those middle schoolers here to the center, where that they're going to impact with all three of those. Well, they'll have a hands-on approach with all three components. They'll be touring the farm, making cutting boards at the wood center, and then they're going to be staying at the forest and going to the fire tower and hitting those three phases all together.
I was going to say, Ray, go ahead. Ray beat me to it, because the more you have talked about everything that's being offered out there, the more I started thinking about, I've been there, and I've been to the camp area. And one of my very first extension experiences, outreach, where I didn't really know what I was doing, was out there at Robinson Forest when it was at a 4-H event for military families that you all were hosting out there, and got to share entomology information and cool insects with everybody. But yeah, that's something I was thinking of too, of like, after finding out that, knowing how well you all partner with different groups, not just we're going to partner with the forestry kids, or like when I was in grad school, entomology students would always go out there because that was a big deal to get to go out and collect insects on that end of the state, right? Compared to what you get in central Kentucky or western Kentucky. But like great partnerships across all of extension that happen out there at the center.
Absolutely. And Jessica, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because I think this is one quality of the Robinson Center, and I'm just going to throw that in there, is that once you come here, right, or you've experienced some facet of the Robinson Center, or maybe you've experienced all of them, right? But once you experience one of those things, you have an appreciation for the place. It's a beautiful place. It's a place that you want to come back to, and hopefully you feel welcomed by our surroundings and but also our people. We haven't talked about that yet, but just we have an amazing set of staff here and people that support this place, from managers to all the way down to every level that we have, all the way that supports this place. So that's one thing we have that we're really, really fortunate to have here, is just the people that make this place run and move, is something that I'm very proud of. I just get to lead the group, but really they do the work, and they're very very good examples of the university and how the university can support this area, and they really buy into that mission, and something I'm proud of. So.
It's a very cool place. Very cool place. It's
So,
pretty.
so just to put a little bit of a finer point on that. So if like a group, for instance, wanted to come out and do maybe like a forest and farm tour, and then maybe they would pair that with a meeting that they were going to have, or some strategic planning that they might do, that'd be something that you all could accommodate, and maybe even work with you all and figure out the food and the other. So this is a situation that if people are looking for a venue that's really beautiful, that's connected to extension, connected to learning, connected to the forest, that's something that they could do.
Absolutely. Yes. Thanks, Brett. That is 100% something we can do. We just ask that people reach out, and we kind of plan it and make sure it's available, the center. But yeah, we have got a lot of groups coming and doing exactly what you said, doing team building activities, coming and doing planning sessions. We hosted one of the departments. We hosted the entire department of one of the bigger departments on the College of Ag here a couple months ago, where they brought their entire faculty and staff down, and they did a team building, did some planning for the next year session, and they did all those things you mentioned. They took farm tours, they went to the wood center, made a product, and then they got to stay at the forest and
which department was that
up there. So which department was that? Plant and soil sciences came down.
Okay, because we need some leverage to come out and see you and do some cool things. So I'll say, well, plant and soil sciences did it. I think we can come down and check it out too.
Sounds like a podcast retreat at the forest to me.
That sounds good. Yeah, well, we can build you whatever you need, right?
So, yeah, I love that.
Hey, the leaves are turning color, guys. So
we started talking about strategic planning and ag econ, at least, and so I would say, hey, now it's just down the road, part of campus.
My favorite retreat spot in the state, because once you're out there, Daniel, you're out there.
You're out there.
You're out there, and I love it. It's a good place.
We have good quality internet now for groups. People, that's something has been a hold up for us in the past. Yeah. But now we have, as long as you're at the center, any center building now, you have the EduRoam, where you're just like you're on main campus. Like if you leave the president's building on campus and you walk in our buildings here, you should have the same internet access in both locations. So that's something after post flood that we've obtained here, that's kind of set us up for success going forward, as well as having that good internet access and good availability for anybody who comes here. That's whether that's a researcher, or student, or participant. So.
Brett,
I do want to hit on that. When we were out visiting, you mentioned about the kind of the marketing, but I think also the sense of purpose and clarity of vision and connectedness. It really showed through talking to the folks working out there, talking to Jackie and Rob and John and everybody. They just had this real sense of pride that honestly we could use a little dose of that on campus sometimes, I think. So the idea of that feeling was just so cool to see people kind of all pulling in the same direction. And I'll share one more touchy-feely thing while I'm at it. Jessica, you mentioned having your first one of your first extension experiences at the Robinson Center. I had one of my, they talk about your welcome to the NFL moment for new players when they get tackled by somebody really big. Well, my welcome to extension, I wasn't tackled, but John Strang and Sean Wright were leading a workshop out there. And I was fresh into this job, less than a year into this job. And I'm trying to figure out what the heck this extension thing even is and what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I was just anything that happened. So I saw that you all were having out at the Robinson Center, you all were having an apple grafting workshop. and I went out. And I remember John, bringing John Strang was a longtime fruit specialist in the state. If you ever grew fruit and had a question, you probably know him. But he brought out all this scion wood and understock and showed people how. And Jessica and Alexis will warn you of the perils of turning a grafting knife over to the public. But uh, the it was this moment where they were talking with folks and people. There was one person who had actually brought some scion wood that was of this thing this varietal that their grandma had on their farm. There was one called Estel Gold, I think. I still remember, maybe something like that. And they of course, John got all excited about it, and they grafted it, and they were showing them, and they had a little bit of a presentation and then a lot of talking and sharing and doing. And it was one of those moments where I was like, oh, okay, so this is kind of what extension can be. And this is what it looks like and feels like. You could just feel in the room the energy and excitement, because it was informational. It was based on good information and science, but it was also like rooted in these people's real lives. And I was also couldn't help but think, like, okay, these people are going to go out with their parafilm wrapped little grafted apple trees, and they are going to plant these. And those are these little moments, this little fraction of a moment in time where we were all there together, and it has this kind of cascading effect. And all of that happened at the Robinson Center. And I can't imagine it having happened, anywhere else. Certainly we aren't having a lot of meetings like that, certain other places. So
that's a good point. We have our apple orchard here, our orchard, and then that we have supplied, the Robinson Center has supplied county agents for that very program, for the grafting workshops in numerous counties. Each year, we still have agents that come and they get their scion wood here because of the varieties that are here, and they take those back to those counties and teach them, do what you said there, Brett. But what's cool about the Robinson Center is that and the agents too, working with them, but you can come here and do each component of that. They're going to come learn to get their scion wood. They're going to learn how to graft, right? Then that provides us opportunities with their agents to then talk to them a little bit about grafting, bring them back, let them show them how to, not graft, but prune, talk about how to prune the trees. Then you got the disease management, then you got the pest management, then you've got all the components to that, that provides extension and, the College of Ag and to show off our research here that we do at multiple layers. So it's not just a one-time event. I think you keep wanting to come back, and it's our job and responsibility to make sure that we're offering those programs in that way. So
I will say that there's significantly less buzz in the room when I suggest that we all gather around and fill out an enterprise budget. People seem to gravitate more toward the plant stuff. But we certainly done a lot of presentations out there and a lot of sharing.
Well, I'll be there in 2 weeks for a train the trainer for we've got some doing some stuff and wanting to get a little closer to some of those Eastern Kentucky agents to give them what they asked for. And so we were like, hey, RCARs, can we come out? And of course the immediate answer was yes. So we've got between 20 and 30 agents going to be out there with us learning some stuff. So I'm really excited.
Okay, so you brought up a thing, Alexis. So Daniel,
Yes.
can you clarify for us, what is the difference between an RCARS, a Robinson substation, a Robinson Center, a Robinson Forest, a quicksand?
I was going to say quicksand. I was very confused for a second,
way back
and I
now.
had to ask Ray.
Clarify,
and I was like,
give us the glossary.
It's like, oh wait, I've been there too. I've been to quicksand several times. We're talking about the same thing.
Well, that's a good question because we get that quite a bit, and I think we're all the above, right? We're the East Region Research Farm for the College of Ag, Martin Gatton College of Ag. That has a lot of history, right? So all those things you mentioned, we've been called quicksand, we've been called RCARs, we're currently called Robinson Center. I'll explain that just in a second. But quicksand is the place. This is the address on the map is quicksand. That's where we're at. So I think that's kind of got that moniker there. But then we've had RCARS recently as well, which is the title of the acronym is the Robinson Center for Appalachian Resource Sustainability. Well, that's a lot to say, right? So it's a good name, and it's part of who we are, and it's part of our history, and we still have that name. Some people call us that today, but we a couple of years ago after the floods, we looked at it and thought, the way we're structured now and our components we talked about already with the farm and the wood center and the forest, right? They've all got Robinson in the front of them. So we just went with the simple just Robinson Center as the overarching of who we are and our name, right? And then Robinson Research Farm and the Robinson Forest, and then you got the Robinson Wood Center. But I mean, but if somebody knows us as our cars and somebody knows us at Quicksand, right? You know what I'm saying? The place, the people, our mission, our land grant mission, that has never changed and it will never change. But I think though having the Robinson name at the beginning is the most important part of what we are, because it's our history. It talks about the Yale Robinson days where the university was gifted the property, over 100 years ago. So the Robinson name is there, but I think it's the name is very important, but it's the work we do here and how we impact our communities and how we inspire people when they come here and they want to come back, that really matters. And so Robinson Center is our main name now as far as the overarching. But hey, if you know us as Quicksand, then when you come here, then we're gonna treat you the same as if you think we're the Quicksand or the Robinson Center. So
I think I always
a rose by any other name is just as impactful to the community.
That's right.
You were waiting on it. When people call it Quicksand, Daniel, it's interesting because I've always thought that was neat. That's a regional sort of thing with the way people named it Quicksand, but it's also an indication of the importance of that place and where it sits to the local community. The local folks there, when I'm around, they still call it Quicksand, and because it's identity. It's part of the community, which has always been pretty cool to me. Been pretty cool. I love
so just to be clear for the I didn't know, so Quicksand is like the city, or that's the site, or that's what?
Yeah, it's the name of the place, the little community here. It's called Quicksand.
That's the address.
Yeah. The address is Jackson, but
that's what I was confused about.
It's like a little sub.
You were getting.
I gotcha.
Now we're getting into regional. We're getting
It exists at such a deep cultural level that not even the Postal Service can understand it.
They do if you say it's Quicksand. They're like, oh, Quicksand, gotcha.
Oh, Quicksand. Okay.
Yeah,
that's so cool. It feels so Kentucky
very
too.
Cool. Yeah.
So cool.
When you come across the bridge, right? You come across the bridge over into the center, and we're on Robinson Road. If you've ever been here before, the university has their property up front. We're all around the riverbanks and everything. But then when you get a little higher up or down the Wood Center Drive, there's a lot of personal homeowners that own their own property that's not university owned. And so those individuals, that when you ask them where they live at, they're going to say Quicksand, and that's just the name of where this little place we live at here.
Yeah.
So.
I have to say that was wild to me the first time I was there and drove, we were driving, and this whole huge property, right? And then not actually in the middle, but what felt like the smack dab middle of UK research plots were personal homes. And I was like, who? And I'm thinking the farm manager lives there, or, staff or something. They were like, oh no, that's just anybody. And I was like, what? I can't imagine. That would have been pretty cool to grow up basically on the Robinson Center. That I think has perks. Yeah.
When we say integrated with the community, we mean it.
Well, Brad, that's a good point, because that's a good. We've not talked about that yet in the center, and that's a big part of what we do here. We try to be a part of the community, and an example of that is during the pandemic, in COVID. We even though it seems like not that long ago, but it was, I guess, 5 years ago ish or 6 that they asked us. They come to us during the pandemic, and they asked. They didn't have anywhere in the community to give out food boxes. They had 150 food boxes they were going to bring in on trucks, where they had to be packaged up and sent out. So we partnered with them in the Extension Service, the Breathitt County Extension Office here, and we've been giving 150 food boxes per month, which we were giving out about over $1 million worth of food here to the community. That's went to the people of Breathitt County through the Wood Center out there since that time. So we try to find ways like that to be part of the community, so that we're not just UK, or we're not just this place that's doing all these things that sometimes people don't know what we're doing. It becomes a place where we're a part of the community. If we need something or we want something, we can come there and do that. We have a a voting district panel, I guess you could say, where they come and vote in one of our buildings. So we partner with them. So we try to be a part of the community beyond just the programs and the resources we provide. So
you guys have some really cool meeting spaces out there too. I mean, the building up on the hill and just some of your classroom style spaces are pretty neat.
Yeah.
I remember like going out to, I would say quicksand, because I worked with Daryl Sloan at South Farm, and we went out to quicksand where they were mirroring, research projects. One at South Farm, and then they were doing another at quicksand, which the one at quicksand ended up flooding. So that was an experience as well. But at that community base, like you're talking about, I remember going out there even as a student worker and them talking about like their excess produce and what they did with it and how they had like a program going on at the time where they were taking excess produce from the farm and setting up at the market, but they weren't necessarily competing against other market vendors. It was like for a program for people to come and get free produce, but then also they were helping support the local farmers in the farmers market, and it was just a big community effort together, just getting that excess produce out to the community and then helping the other local farmers with that market and keeping that market going through the season. So I remember that even back when I was like 19 years old, hearing them talk about that when I was out there. It was kind of cool.
Yeah,
You all have also done some or I know Sean, Dr. Wright in the horticulture department has done some research on some heirlooms in that area and correct me if I'm wrong, kind of a result of some of the flooding where people lost a bunch of their seed and their plants. You got any info to share? That's such a, very cool community-based, plant-based thing that you all are doing.
That's right. Yeah, Dr. Wright seen the need after the floods to that people obviously lost their homes and lost the if you lose your home, you're going to lose your seeds. You're going to lose everything that's in it in a sense. So a lot of these families had been passing down heirloom seeds for generations, right? Not just from 5 years ago. We're talking many years. So Dr. Wright uh, seen that, and he put in some bean trials this year as an example that actually happened this year in 2025, and where that we strung some beans on some of the old hops trellises that we have on the site here, to where that he growed those beans and he's planting, and he's already given some of them back. But as they kind of have seed programs and some of the agents in some of the counties that have had the flood impacted areas, they can go back and they can provide those families with some of those historical heirloom seeds that they can take back. And and that goes back to that being part of the community feel we have here, that we can go and we're a part of the community. And that was a concern and a need that Dr. Wright identified. But it helps the community. If when you've lost everything and you're trying to rebuild, it's something that's as simple as having the beans that your grandma or that your great grandfather or whatever had put out for you when you were growing up. That gives you a sense of home, a sense of feel, a sense of belonging, and part of your community. So to be able to give a little bit of that back, I think was a good opportunity. And it's a good opportunity for the center here to provide the resources and the ground and everything and the equipment to do so. But it's a very successful project.
Yeah, I just think that is just so cool. And everybody who knows me knows I don't get much into my touchy feels. I like some good hard data, but like, man, that hits in a way that like is hard for me to explain, of just kind of bringing people's history, in a very small way back to them where it was lost. And I could like cry with how beautiful that is, and like incorporating the plants of it and the trial of it and that kind of thing is just chef's kiss.
Well, I mean, yeah, this is like the culture of horticulture, right? That the genetics of that plant, the particular traits of that plant were selected a long time ago because somebody's great grandma or grandpa or whatever said, it's pretty good. It does pretty good against the blight, does pretty good against all these other things. We're gonna keep this one.
And it does good in Eastern Kentucky. Yeah. And like, like just
yeah, and you pass it along. It's like so Daniel, I get $5 every time I bring up bonsai in any context, but there are bonsai trees that exist in the world that have been taken care of by multiple generations. But with a seed crop like that has this cycle, I mean, you're essentially taking care of that same plant, that same line for generations at a time. It's like this heritage that's interlocked with who we are, and it's, I think, why a lot of plant people get into it in the first place. Well, I think maybe we'll close with another one of the Robinson Center's hits that people may know them for, and then encourage you to share kind of how, if people want to come out and have some experiences with you all, maybe we'll do that. But you all have this amazing wood utilization center. I happen to do a little bit of woodworking myself, and when I go out there, I feel inspired and also overwhelmed with the incredible machinery and also the talent that you have available there on staff. But you're able, it's very, very impressive. You're able to make the process of doing some woodworking, having that kind of hands-on experience with the wood products, really accessible to people who have never done it before. And so I thought maybe you could just highlight some of those things that people can come out and do if maybe they want to do a 1-day team building thing, or they wanted to come out and make something together. What those opportunities are, and then again, if you could just close this out with like kind of a general, here's how to get in contact with us, that would be awesome.
Sure. Yeah, the Wood Center, like you said, is an amazing place, and I think when I talk about the workshops and the classes we do, I think about it in two different ways. Is one is you come and you have a general interest in, say, making a product, and we're having this class. And an example of some of the products we can do for that is we've got cutting boards. We recently had our fall field day, where the participants that came got to make a cedar birdhouse. We've had charcuterie boards. We've made Lazy Susans. We've made cheese blocks. So there's shaker boxes, if you're familiar with those. So there's different workshops and classes we do that are hands-on, where participants get to come and they come and they learn about the wood industry, but then they take that a step farther, and they get to go in the wood center then and make a product. And those products then they can then take home, and they kind of have that sense of pride because they got to have the hands in part of making that. But then also, that's just one component of the workshops and things we do. But the other thing that we do is we have our entrepreneurial program, and I'm sure Chad Nyman talked about a little bit about that. But where we have people that want to make woodworking, say, a business or a side business, or they have Brad, you mentioned you love woodworking. Maybe you want to make a few products to sell throughout the year, and you want to learn how to make, say, a table, or you want to learn how to make a chair, or you want to learn how to make hardwood flooring, whatever that you're wanting to do. We have the equipment, like you said, that wood center is full of state of the art equipment, and so they can come and they can learn how to make those products. And our specialists, our staff will teach you how to do those things with that particular wood product, and then you can go back and do that on your own, or set it up at your own pace or your own shop. Now, what's significant about that is you can continue to come back. Like if you want to master your craft, we'll keep coming back and teaching you. If you want to have a woodworking shop that does several components and not just one, we're here and available to teach you how to do that. So that's a pretty cool thing that's available to everybody. And we once again we'll build that off of the client's request. So if you have a product you want to come and learn how to do, we'll build that training or workshop around that request. So
I will say that you all had one of the gentlemen who's been involved in that entrepreneur program out there. I was out for a conference thing last year, and the way that he spoke about it, I mean, it was real. You could just hear, like, he's like, I couldn't have done this without this program, and the support was really cool, and it was an easy process. So, I mean, I think the fact that your students or the people who are coming out of it are saying that is really, really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's good. That's the results we want. And also too, we want people to come back if you have an interest. Like I said, if you want to make, you don't have to make just a wood cutting board and then never come back again. If you have an interest and you like that process, you want to come back and make we try to offer lots of different workshops throughout the year. So you can follow us on Facebook. That's our Robinson Center is the title of that. You can look us up there, UK Robinson Center. And then also we have a website that's just Robinson Center, mgcafe.uky.edu, I think is the website address. Or you can call our phone number, our main office line, and you can reach anybody there that way. It's 859, I think, 218-9274, I think is the main office line. So
we'll make sure to put those links in the show notes, so anyone just right in their podcast app can go and find the website and that kind of stuff. So hopefully if you're listening to this right now, you go, oh, I see that there. And if not, you can call Ray Tackett.
I love the place. And before I forget, Daniel, is there any programs? I know you guys always have stuff coming up. Anything like in the near future that folks need to know about before we
Well, we
sign
just
up?
finished up all of our major programs for this year, which is our Pumpkin Days and our Youth Science Day, where we welcome students and that's from all ages, basically from uh, preschool all the way up to fifth grade for some of those classes. But then we also have a Win with Wood program to where we welcome in the high school students where they come in and they work with the wood industry products and have a little competition. That's an annual thing. Then we also have had our field day in the fall where or earlier this month where that we highlight our research projects that are here going on in wood products as well. So that's annual. All that's annual. We had record attendance, I might say, this year with those all those events. We had around 2,500 people here through about 5 or 6 events that we conducted in over about a 2-week span. So we were really
Busy time.
really excited about the numbers and the amount of people that came through here and the amount of students that have come through. So it's we that part's been good. But as far as future programming goes, we're going to have there's a molder and knife grinding workshop that the Wood Center is going to be holding on the 30th and 31st of this month of October. Then in December the 13th, we're going to have a hay auction. It's called the second annual East Kentucky Hay Auction. That's just some things that are already scheduled.
Yeah.
In the future, in the springtime, we're going to have a cattle handling and working competition for some of the local high school students. This will be the second year for that. We got plans and then we'll have all of our normal workshops being scheduled throughout the winter and next year as well with our cutting board workshops and all that. And then the next fall we'll continue to have our field day and pumpkin days and youth science day and Win with the Wood again. But yeah, and if we have any kind of special one-offs that people want to have conduct classes or trainings here or whatever, we have those all the time. But those vary from year to year, and so we'll hopefully have a better plan for 2026 as far as what's going to be laid out after the first of the year. So
and in the spring, you're having your grand reopening or whatever celebration of, wow, we just did a lot to put this place back together again. In a better than it was before. And I think that I will look forward to that because that will be something we want to celebrate too.
Well, we want to invite y'all down. We're glad y'all are having us on for this, but invite you down for the celebration of that. It is going to be a celebration because we're tired of talking about the floods. We're Robinson Center. We're back open. We're helping people. We never stopped helping people, and we're back to helping people. Hopefully better than we were before. And two, I want to invite Brett, you and your group. I want you to come down maybe in the fall. Maybe when we have some of these programs and classes, maybe y'all can help lead some sessions or do some youth events with some of our youth as well. So
be great. It all sounds awesome.
Awesome. Well, if you're within driving distance of Robinson Center, highly recommend going to take a visit. I'm in fact mad that I only recently, as someone who's been deep into the UK culture for a very long time, have not been there more than I have. So go. It's wonderful. We're not just saying that. We would not have Daniel on if we didn't think he wasn't awesome and doing awesome things down there. So we appreciate you guys being here with us. Thank you to those of you who have been sending us some emails with questions. We promise we're getting to them. And we hope that you will follow us on Instagram at horticulturepod. We'll put up some photos of the Robinson Center on there. And just keep sending us your ideas. Keep sending us your questions. Give us a 5-star rating if you don't mind. Or even, you know what? If you think it's only 4-star, I'll accept it. All right? So, but 5-star preferred. So anyways, we appreciate you guys being here with us today, and we hope you will join us next time. Have a great one.